Because in the midst of that drama today over this Treasury payment system, we also got this delightful advance in this story from the Wall Street Journal, which exclusively reported that the actual kid, the actual person who Donald Trump and Elon Musk had let into the Treasury payment system, the actual person is this person. Quote, a key Doge staff member who gained access to the Treasury Department's central payment system resigned today after he was linked to a deleted social media account that advocated racism and eugenics. A 25-year-old who was part of a cadre of Elon Musk lieutenants deployed by Doge to scrutinize federal spending resigned after the Wall Street Journal asked the White House about his connection to the account. The account posted in July, quote, just for the record, I was racist before it was cool. The account wrote on Twitter in September, quote, you could not pay me to marry outside of my ethnicity. In reference to a post noting the prevalence of people from India in Silicon Valley, the account wrote, again in September, quote, normalize Indian hate. After the Wall Street Journal inquired about the account, White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt said that the young man had resigned from his role. Again, this is one of the Elon Musk lieutenants, one of his, bad news bears, who specifically was allowed access to the most sensitive payment system in the entire U.S. government, the one that sends out more than 90% of all payments for all things from the United States Treasury. This was that specific kid. And here's my favorite part of this reporting from the Wall Street Journal. After this, the Wall Street Journal uncovers what this kid has said. I was racist before it was cool. You could not pay me to marry outside my ethnicity. Normalize Indian hate. After the Wall Street Journal turns up that stuff from this kid, the Journal then does, there's then an interview, with Bloomberg, in which Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, quote, defended the work of Doge employees appended to the Treasury Department, describing them as, quote, highly trained professionals. That's why he gave them access to the most sensitive payment system in the entire U.S. government that partisan political actors have never had access to before in the history of this country. It's because he checked. They're highly trained professionals. Normalize Indian hate. At Wired tonight, we learn about another of Elon Musk's JV team, these highly trained professionals that are very trusted by the U.S. Treasury Secretary. It's from Wired.com tonight, quote, a young technologist known online as BigBalls, who works for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, has access to sensitive U.S. government systems. Highly trained professionals. However, his professional and online history call into question whether he would pass the background check typically required to obtain security clearances, according to security experts who spoke with Wired. Quote, one of the companies he founded, which is called Tesla.Sexy LLC, controls dozens of web domains, including at least 2 that are registered in Russia. One of those domains, which is still active, offers a service called Healthy, which is an AI bot for Discord servers targeting the Russian market. Someone using a Telegram handle linked to the young man also solicited a cyber attack for hire service in 2022. At Path Network, the young man worked as a systems engineer. Path has at times listed as employees Eric Taylor, also known as Cosmo the God, a well-known former cybercriminal and member of the hacker group UG Nazis, as well as Matthew Flannery, an Australian convicted hacker whom police allege was a member of the hacker group LulzSec. So these are the highly trained professionals. That was the exact phrase from Trump Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. This is the team that he's decided it's totally fine to give them complete access to the highest security systems in the whole U.S. government, including the ones that have your social security number, your personal identifying information, your bank account information, potentially your health information. They're highly trained professionals.
Big balls.
Why wouldn't they
Big balls.
be given everything? CNN reports tonight, quote, a 23-year-old representative from Elon Musk's Doge was granted access to the Energy Department's IT system yesterday by Energy Secretary Chris Wray. This despite objections from people in the Department of Energy, which controls access to information about U.S. nuclear weapons. I don't know if you worry about nuclear weapons. I don't know. I don't know if you worry about the safety of your social security number and your bank account. I mean, everybody has their own, things that keep them up at night, right? Did you ever worry about, air traffic control? Our nation's new transportation secretary, who until a few weeks ago was a weekend host on the Fox Business Channel, he announced today that this crew, operated by Elon Musk, this is the group to whom he's handing over the national system that we have in the United States for air traffic control.
The backpack mafia.
He's letting them, quote, plug in to the system to fix it. Because who among us doesn't feel better about having a 19-year-old with links to Russia and famous criminal hackers who goes by the online handle BigBalls in charge of American air traffic control? Anybody want to buy a used Tesla? Today in Washington, people protested against USAID cuts and specifically against cuts for the PEPFAR program that has literally kept tens of millions of people alive with HIV treatment. These folks blocked traffic in Washington, D.C. They told Secretary of State Marco Rubio to reverse the halt to PEPFAR, reverse the halt to this program. Now, Marco Rubio has tried to say that this particular program isn't being halted, but it absolutely is. Activists and journalists have proven that out, even as Marco Rubio and the Trump administration have tried to say that this is one of the programs they're going to let live. This program is halted. And whether it is intentional by them or whether it is because they cannot tell which direction they are walking on an escalator and they can't figure out how to restart something they accidentally stopped, it is now down to activists in the street who are using everything they've got to get that program restarted, including risking arrest today and stopping traffic in the streets. It also includes a somewhat random overture from a billionaire. Billionaire Microsoft founder Bill Gates was at the White House yesterday afternoon lobbying President Trump personally and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles personally to restart that program and to save USAID. All different forms of pressure to try to push them back. And so is the new federal lawsuit that we can report is being filed tonight to stop the Trump administration from illegally closing USAID. The Congressional Research Service reported earlier this week that there is not a legal means available to Donald Trump to shut that agency down, with or without Elon Musk and his band of juvenile delinquents trying to do it. But they are nevertheless trying. And so now we see with USAID and foreign aid and everything else, we see everybody else who understands the stakes here pushing back in every way, on every front, every day. This fight is joined, and we're going to get some expert advice on the prospects for success next.